Hi everyone, and thanks for joining this week's Tech Talk. It's Tech Talk number 9, integrating Jaspersoft into portals. If you've never joined Tech Talks before, the format of this show is I have a presenter, and this week it's Bing Wang. She works for Jaspersoft out of the San Francisco office, and she'll be talking to you about today's topic. So before we get started, what I want to do to make sure everyone's awake is send a poll question. And so I'll actually start that now. And it asks if you are using Jaspersoft embedded into a portal or another application. So you can answer yes in production, yes in development, or no, you use Jaspersoft standalone. So I'll give everybody about a minute to vote. All right, and it looks like all of the results have come in. So I'll share those throughout the show, the results of the poll questions. So with that, I'll hand it over to Bing, and she's going to walk you through the technical presentation today. So Bing, welcome to the show, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ernesto, and thank you, everyone on the call. It's my pleasure to discussing about the integration Jasper report into your portal. Here. All right. So today is we have the number 9 Tech Talk. I will briefly, and since most our customers embedding or integrate Jasper Report Server into other app, and so I briefly discuss some of the APIs option, and then we're going to I'm going to show some sample of the Liferay integration options. You know, we can use in iFrame, and we also have a portlet. After that, I'll show you our live demo, and our Ernesto also want to discuss some of our other portlet options out there. And I will talk about how you can actually deploy the portlet on the app server. And you know, both Liferay and Jasper server can leverage your existing single sign-on system. And we for the topic today, we're using like a CAS server, and obviously, and there are many other single sign-on management options there. And both Liferay and Jasper server have out-of-the-box integration with many other like Open SSO, SignMinder, and LDAP as well. I'd like to mention our portlet, and it's actually developed by Jasper's developers, and is both JSR168 and JSR268 compliant. So what that means is you can actually use the portlet to work with your other portals. And here is a list of the portal that actually support or compliant with JSR168 and JSR268. Most likely, technically, it should work, and it may require like a tweak. Let me see the next one. Here is our screenshot of our few examples of how customers, you know, integrate Jasper server seamlessly inside their app. You can go up to this link to take a look at all the case study we put there. I think it could be helpful and give you some idea how you know, from UI perspective, from business use case perspective, and how you can actually embed Jaspersoft inside your application. This is our typical BI stack, and we are using HTML5 charting and 100% web standard. So it comes with infrastructure, and to enable quickly customize your CSS page without the update any server, and you have our different look and feel from the UI, and it make it very easy to mingle with your application. So from end user standpoint of view, you know, they don't really know, and they actually report that come from Jaspersoft, and so sometimes we call ourselves, and it's the hero behind the scene. We, you know, as most people on the call, you're probably very familiar with Jaspersoft. You know, we have a very rich set of APIs, so REST, HTTPs, and those function of we providing through the API is enable you to or can meet you many different level requirement of integration. And we are continually enhance our APIs as we're moving forward. So today, and the discussion will be about Liferay. Liferay is a very powerful enterprise portal. It's a nice addition within our open source family, and it's actually our software integration platform. It can easily plug in or integrate with any other web-based app through Portlet or widget, and you can customize and personalize the portal page, and depending on the user who log in, they will getting different landing page, you know, different configuration. You can combine all the blogs, wikis, social network, and many application inside this software platform, and it provide a search, so you can do our search. You can search across all the contents on your portal, and nicely it provide our single sign integration platform, and very easily to configure with LDAP, CAS, Open SSO, SignMinder, and all other single sign-on as well.
So I'll just add something here. Liferay is a very good portal to integrate Jaspersoft with, largely because it's Java-based. So to host Jaspersoft, you need to have a application server like Tomcat, and so Liferay can sit right alongside it. And the other kind of thing, and Bing's actually going to demonstrate, is the single sign-on integration options between Jaspersoft and Liferay. It's just a matter of configuration versus development, and so that's why we're focusing on Liferay for those of you who maybe are not familiar with it. So continue. Sorry for the interruption, Bing.
Oh, no, that's great, Ernesto. Thank you. And here is our screenshot, Jaspersoft inside the Liferay. And you can see there's many different tabs, and you know, you can have our report, a library tree structure, and you also can use our ad hoc to create a report from your Liferay portal, and you also can just point to our dashboard and panel that user can log in and just see the dashboard here. We can using the iFrame and the plugin that Liferay offered. And if you already have a Liferay app running, it's pretty simple. And you can just add the Jasper report server flow ID to Liferay configuration. And obviously along that, you can sizing the iFrame windows, and you also can enable some authentication user on that. We also provide Portlet integration. So Jasper, we provided the Portlet, and officially, if you're using Liferay or JBoss portal, and then at the same time using a Portlet, if you have an issue or a problem, you can call our support. So we officially support both Liferay and JBoss portal. And technically, if you have our other type of portals, which is JSR168, JSR268 Portlet standard, and all Portlet should able to work. And some situation require a little bit tweak, some of maybe just working fine. You can get the Portlet, and if you are commercial customers, you can get the Portlet from support. If you are a community user, you can get the Portlet from the source link from here. As you know, we're open source on most server, and other component can be downloaded freely.
So I'll stop you again here if we can go back, just go back to your last slide.
Yeah.
Number 8 there. So I'm not sure what the big difference is between the commercial and the community edition of the actual Portlet. I don't know if you have that answer, if it's something I can follow up on.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think from Portlet standpoint view, is more really about support. I think the code and the Portlet itself is pretty much identical, and they're all using the same API call, which we use in SOAP. I don't see there's any, we can follow up with our development team here, but I don't see there's any big difference.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think there was, but yeah, of course the commercial support requires you to use the commercial products, so it's probably pre-configured to work with the enterprise edition, that kind of thing. And then the other thing I want to point out is, if you look at this Portlet, Bing will actually show it to you, but it's interesting she mentions about the source code, because things like the colors and that Jaspersoft logo that you see, that's all going to be in the code of the Portlet itself. So Bing will show you that we integrate with portals in many different ways, but this is just one of the ways, but you'd still want to probably customize this a little bit to match your environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yep.
That's
and then
very good
I guess
point.
You'll switch to the demo, so should I switch to my screen for just a moment?
Yeah, so Ernesto will show you some of a very cool project that actually developed through our community user. Obviously one of the benefits that with open source vendor, we have a nice group of people that are contributing and make the product better on daily basis.
Yep. Yeah, so I was just going through, if you guys can see my screen now, I was going through our community questions. So these, just for you guys that are listening, there's Jaspersoft support, and when you're a paying Jaspersoft customer, we're guaranteed by SLA to answer your questions and to help you out to the best of our ability and get developers involved, et cetera, whenever we need to. The community forums are for the community projects. Now, customers are also welcome to ask questions and help answer questions. And so just know it's here, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff on it. You can ask questions, etc., and get project information. So this this post here, the Jaspersoft Portlet, one of our community members just contributed some awesome code to be able to connect to a lot of different portals. So we ship our portlet, and then this guy's actually on Google Google Code. So I'm going to post the URL to his project into the chat box, just so you guys can browse along if you would like. So I'll put that to the entire audience. And what he did is he wrote a portlet using REST. So our portlet is using SOAP APIs, and it connects to the Pluto portal, JetSpeed, uPortal, Liferay, EXO, and Gaiden. So he's tested it with a bunch of different open source portal technologies. And he's got some great documentation, and he's got some funny Angry Birds as well for each one. It's funny if you read his documentation. It's quite funny. So you can download his WAR file. It's a WAR file just like our portlet, and it'll actually show you like installation, for example, on Liferay. Actually takes you through step by step how to integrate his portlet with Liferay. You can see it's actually a very nice integration that he did. So I just wanted to highlight this community project because it's amazing that he gave his time to our both community members and paying customers of Jaspersoft. So thank you very much for writing the Jaspersoft project. It is a funny name. I can't wait to try it out and check out that integration. So Bing, if you're ready, I can hand over control to you.
Okay. Do I need to take over, or you can?
I can make you the presenter again, and then you'll get presentation rights.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Indeed, that's really a nice project, and I actually just found it out this morning as well. So I really encourage, and if you're using any type of a portal, so give it a try, and don't free to send us a question or post a question on our community site. We do have our actually larger number of community users. So there are looking the site and constantly contribute, answer the question. Here is, I have a Liferay portal app running. The Liferay portal here I'm using is actually Liferay 6, and the Jasper server, you can see I embedded and using different form. I can log in as repository a library view, and I can point to the ad hoc creator, so you can just using your Jasper server to select the data source to create ad hoc report right from your Liferay portal, and then I also have my dashboard tab. The nice thing about Liferay is it's actually a fairly lightweight. Ernesto mentioned that it's a Java app running on the Tomcat or many other different app server. You can get Liferay running as web app along with Jasper server, or you can have different app server in different domain. As a matter of fact, the integration is fairly simple. It really doesn't need any coding or wrappers. For example, here, if I go to, once I installed this Jasper Portlets, and it was showing up one of the application ad panel inside the Liferay, And if I wanted using iFrame, I can just go into Add iFrame. So I got add 2, and then you can add a few more if you like. So I'm going to remove one.
What you're showing below those is our portlet, right? The one that says report list. So I don't know if you can just show quickly what that one is and what happens when
this is our portlet. And so this is just the portlet if I add it here. And so if I add it here, it will actually showing, I set it up. So, once the next session, I'm going to talk about how you get this here. And once you get here, and there's a way to configure it. So in this example, so let me just close 2 so you can, make sure I have 1. And by default, I set it up to showing report in my public sample folder, and you can change into different landing page, and is configurable. And I can click on the report, and now it's showing that it's a little bit different interface, look and feel compared to iFrame, but it has a certain input control, and so you can switch back and forth. And then all those chart here is actually HTML5, so you can nicely run on the mobile device. That's
quick
what it looks
question
like.
here. So I know that this report is using the table element. Since most of the listening today are customers, are probably aware of what that means, which means the table will become interactive when you run it. Now, when you run it over the portlet, there is no interaction, right? Because it's just an HTML, like a plain HTML output. Okay. So just wanted to make sure that those listening are aware of that. That when you use the portlet, it's going to you do an HTML output and you lose interactivity. And then she's going to show different things like an iFrame, and that can have interactivity. So that's all I wanted to point out. Thanks, Bing. Continue.
Yeah, so there's a certain advantage that you using our SOAP or REST API to integrate, and iFrame is very relatively simple and easy. So you can just go to the configuration tab here, to add, the flow ID, and you can, it's the nice thing about the Jasper report server, each component, and we have a flow ID that point to it. So for example here, and within the iFrame, it retain all the interactivities. You click on a certain component, you can drill down next level, and so if you mouse over, you see all the HTML5 charting. It will show the tooltip, and the big advantage mostly people using iFrame is you actually can create ad hoc report right there. When you're using SOAP or REST-based, and the user cannot create report. So you just create a report by, how you normally create a report on the server side. And you can drag and drop a bunch of data over here. You can drag and drop right there. And then I can save my report, and I can export in PDF, and so all the server and interactivity are just right there. I think that's what I have, and I think the taking away point is that it doesn't really require any coding or wrapper, and because the Liferay platform, and once you drop in Jasper as one of the app as a portlet, and you can just point to the report, and the folder directory. And another way that we using very common is iFrame, and you can just point to the flow ID, and then you can show different components within your iFrame. And the next topics I'm going to talk about is that the single sign-on integration. So notice that.
Okay. Can you stop just a sec there? On the analytical view that you had there, how did you hide decorations? I know that's going to be a common question later, so maybe we cover it now. Is you show that it doesn't look like Jaspersoft anymore. You basically hid the menu bars, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can show what the URL looks like before you move to the SSO piece.
Okay, so yeah, well, I mentioned it early, right? We are 100% a web standard. So we, so let me, here is, so here is a piece of, I'm logging to Jasper server. As you can see, I'm applying different CSS theme here. So you will switch back to default. And you will see all the menu regular server creation. So just to make embedding easier, we can apply different CSS, which is hide, or some customers call white label. So we do not. We go back to the repository. Can show you how that works. So we apply a technology called themes. A theme is typically a set of a CSS, which can change the scheme of the Jasper server. So by default, and if I can set up as active theme. I can choose many different themes I like, and by default, it will be typical Jasper server login. And if I switch to embedded, using our embedded theme, so when I apply, and you will see that it doesn't have the typical Jasper logo or menu. And depend on your customers or the use case, and you can apply. We have a theme, a sample that you can apply to switch to different looking fields if you like. So for example, in this one, you see that we have our different color scheme and different logo for Jasper server. So that's all those things can be done by simply switch into different CSS file. So when we go back here, so what I'm using here is actually an embedded theme for dashboard. So which is, we don't have to overlap or with our my existing Liferay tab right here.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, so I think we can go back to my next topic of this tech talk, which is, let me bring that back, which is about how to deploy Jasper report servlet inside your portal, and how to enable single sign-on. The example I'm using today is the CAS, which is also very nice edition of the open source single sign-on solution, and many of our customers is actually using it. It's quite popular as well. So, and once you get a Jasper report server portlet, it's a Word file, and it's up on our support portal on community side, and Ernesto also point out our community user developer, our portlet, and you just need to drop the Word file and your Liferay app server, deploy your folder, and register your Tomcat. And by just doing this two-step, if you log in back your Liferay, you will see the Jasper name list as one of the app. There are another couple of things you need to do. So you need to make sure the Jasper report server know where is Liferay server. So you will add Liferay server IP address on the configuration file, application context security web.xml, a trusted IP address for your Liferay server. And obviously, Liferay server can be on the same domain or different domain. And also, there's another file we need to update is JS codes property file, and you just need to point to the Liferay IP address or domain name. On the Liferay server, and you need to tell you need to tell where is a Jasper report server. So there's once you deploy the Word file, and there is a portlet.xml, and you just need to add your Jasper server location. So now we are established our two-way communication between Jasper server and the Liferay. So pretty much just a three-step: drop your Word file, and add the IP address for Liferay, add the IP address for Jasper server. Next one, and I'm going to briefly discuss the the CAS integration. Similarly, Liferay, and if you be with the Jasper server or your customers, you know we are actually using our Spring security framework to configure all different authentication and the single sign-on. Similarly, Liferay also using the same security platform. So there are a lot of similarity in terms of how you configure Jasper server with the CAS and how you configure Liferay with the CAS. And so you can pretty much using CAS, central authentication server, as the single sign-on for both Liferay and the Jasper server. Obviously, it can be used for other enterprise application as well. So nicely, you can just log in CAS, and you do not have to log into Jasper server. You can bypass Jasper server login screen, and also you can bypass Liferay login screen. A little bit how that actually work. As you can see, a user from a browser request a Jasper report, and because we integrated with the CAS, so there is no login page for user to fill in. And however, Jasper server, because we put down in the Spring filter chain that we are using CAS, so it noticed that the user is not logged in, so it redirects to our CAS server. So CAS server and request a service ticket validation from Jasper server, and those couple of filter chain obeying, and we have a document. It's actually Ernesto put together Apple community side a detailed step-by-step guide, and how to configure those filter chains and plus all the bins. Basically, and CAS server requires a service validation from Jasper server, and the Jasper server filter chain process this validation request and invoke CAS authentication provider, and taking that, and once they validate, now between Jasper server and the CAS will establish our secure connection. And so CAS will give Jasper server username and password, and it will, once we get validated username and password from CAS, Jasper server will return the request, the report back to the browser, to the user. So here is the option. You probably know within Jasper report server, we have our internal database which stores username, password, and by integration with the CAS, so you have an option to store those username and password inside our internal database, or you can, by configuring our application context security.xml, add some bins so we can actually validate the username and password on the fly. So that's a little bit overview of the security integration. Obviously, it can be quite complex, but giving the CAS server help manage all the username for single sign-on. So what we can do here is that configuring the CAS with Jasper server. That's where the wiki article that Ernesto put together. Pretty much basic step here. We need to have CAS client jar file, and then use Jasper server web nf lib where you add all the DBC jar file, and then configure the Java. Once you install CAS server, you can use one of the Java key 2 to generate certificate. So you'll make sure your Java to trust your CAS certificate. And there's the application context security web.xml, where all the filter chains you need to update, and also provide some bin for like a CAS authentication provider. And so this process is actually well documented. We have the authentication cookbook, and we have a fair amount of wiki article posts on the community site. I found those are very helpful. Ernesto, do you want to add something on top of that, or?
No, not really. I think the level of detail that you're giving here is about right. Giving access to these links and an overview for it. It would be difficult to go any deeper without having to without really getting into the code. So I think that's great. What we normally do now is take some questions from the audience. There's a few queued up here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have anything else in your presentation before we move to that part.
Yeah, we're pretty wrapping up here. One thing I will want to add on, and to enable CAS with Liferay is our similar type of configuration. It's actually a little bit simplified. Nicely, Liferay provide our UI, so you can just go up to Liferay portal, control panel, portal settings, authentication to add your CAS server information. And Liferay has a nice wiki portal like us, so well documented. And so I put the link here. And the finalize is we are, if you don't be shying away, if you do not using Liferay and the JBoss, so there's a list of the portal, and the Portlet API is all, say, JSR268, JSR168. So give a try if you have all those portal, the portals other than Liferay. So, and give us some feedback. I think that's all I have. And some of documentation and the resources link, you can, those can help you get it started. That's all I have.
Well, excellent.
Ernesto?
Excellent. Thank you for that, that great introduction to how we connect to CAS and to Liferay. So yeah, we'll launch with some questions and see if we can answer them. The first one comes, where do you download the portlet and what is it? In one of Bing's earlier slides, she showed the two places. So if you're a paying Jaspersoft customer, you would download it from the support portal. She's going to get the slide up again. There it is. Okay, so yeah, if you're a commercial client, just log into the support portal and you can find it there. And if you're using the community edition, you can find it at that URL there. And the second part of the question is, what is it? That is a good question. So it's a WAR file, just like Jaspersoft. It's a so if you were running Jaspersoft and you were running Liferay and you were running our portlet, you would be running 3 WAR files under Tomcat, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a thin sort of layer between Jaspersoft and the portlet. It's a wrapper based on SOAP, and there you can actually see, and you would see it in the demo as well. I think for some that joined in a bit late, remember you can always watch these on YouTube later on. Okay.
Yep.
So second question was, which version of Liferay do you support? So Bing,
yeah.
take that
yeah,
one.
That's a good question. So right now, we with the latest Jasper server is version 5. So we support Liferay 6 and the 5. So if you're using previous version of Jasper server, which is 4.7, we support only Liferay version 5.
Okay, makes sense. So you can check our platform support data sheet, see that officially inked in writing, to see what those are. So if you go to jaspersoft.com/supported-platforms, you can download the big data sheet there. It tells you like what databases we support and that sort of thing. Another question, and this one's probably about CAS, is do all users have the same permissions, or is there some role-based security happening?
Yeah, that's really a good question. So from CAS doesn't really provide role-based management. So what happened is we have a post-authentication processes. So once we authenticate through the CAS, and the Jaspersoft server actually provides some extra a filter, if you can say, like for example, if you are multi-tenancy, we have an organization ID, and we also have more granular row base. So we actually do not using CAS. I believe CAS doesn't provide that capability, so we do some post-authentication process using Jaspersoft server.
Okay, and then I'm not quite sure I'm understanding the response on like the role-based security. So like if a user were to log in who has role manager to Liferay, would he then like maybe not see the manager dashboard? Like if we did just object level security?
No, so for Liferay, Liferay has their own different way to personalize, customize based on user login. That's actually different from Jaspersoft. And what a CAS normally do is to provide a single sign-on and for authentication. So once you, from UI perspective, once you log in Liferay, and based on your role, for example, if you're a manager, you can see, you can see different tabs, different landing page. If you're just regular employee, you probably see different. So that configuration, I believe, is managed by Liferay and Jaspersoft. So, for example, if we have role-based login, if you log in as demo user, you see the dashboard. If we log in as Jasper admin or manager, we can see all the different report, our overview dashboard, and that's actually managed through Jasper server. Does that make clear?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. And then if you want to get more detail about that, the person who asked the question, you can download the authentication cookbook. It hasn't been updated for several releases, unfortunately, at this point. But the ideas behind it still are the same, and most of the configuration is almost the same. So you have to kind of use that and then the wiki pages to get things configured. Another question is, what about other single sign-on? So we have a portal that we wrote, and we have our own authentication system. It's not CAS. How does that work? Okay, that's another good question. So we focused on Liferay and CAS. Out of the box, we support other things like SiteMinder. But if you have your own sort of authentication system, like you built it yourself, or it's part of a framework that we didn't, specifically support, you can still get support by adding your own authentication provider, and that's all through the Spring Security Framework. So I would look at their site for some examples on how to write like custom ones. It's something that our professional services staff typically does for you, since we're already sort of experts in that field. But that's the answer, is you can develop your own Spring Security plugin. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that answer, or if that was good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good because, out of the box, we provide some common integration with like a CAS or, SiteMinder. But if you have a customized your own, that will be something have to be case-by-case type of, customization. So.
Okay, excellent. Two more questions, and then we'll shut down the show. So is there any way to join data from an Oracle database to a MySQL database? Okay, so this one's, it's not about today's topic, which is perfectly fine in Tech Talks. You can always ask anything, really. And so the answer to that one would be, starting in Jaspersoft 5, we integrate a data virtualization system into Jaspersoft. and it's done through domains. So you would log into Jaspersoft UI, and you can define what's called a virtual data source. You can then add your Oracle and your MySQL databases, and then when you create the domain, it'll let you define joins between those two. Then you can use that data source on top of, you can use it from ad hoc, but you can also use it from iReport with domains. So yeah, that came in version 5, so in version 4.7 that wouldn't be possible. You'd have to use an external product to do that. So hopefully that's enough to get you started. Just look up virtualized data sources in Jaspersoft. And the last question was, that's cool how you can hide the decorators for the dashboard. How can I pass parameters to a dashboard? So if you have a parameter like state. Bing, you can take that one, or I can take that one.
Yeah, we do have customers to passing parameters. Do you have a good example, Ernesto, to show, or you can take on that? Because I have done that before.
Yeah, I would need just a second to get it set up on my system. Let's see. So just going to, what I need to know is the parameter name, and then I can show it real quick. So I'm going to use the Supermart dashboard. Just a second, you guys, and then I'll share my screen.
So, Ernesto, if you like to show something, should I passing the screen share to you, or?
Sure, you could do that.
Okay. Or you can just show us how that actually dashboard, the flow ID parameter look like.
Yeah. So let's see if I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen already. So if I click on this performance summary dashboard, for example, by default, I'm showing the all product families. And so with regular reports, what you would do is you would add a parameter called and then parameter name. So maybe it's family, and then you would say equals food. Like I want to pass by URL, I want to control the parameters. So if you see that. The way that it works with dashboards is you need to pass a parameter called hidden underscore parameter name and then value. But I'm not sure if it's if the parameter is actually called family or not. So when I submit that, it's likely not going to. Yeah, it didn't work because it needs to be. I don't know the actual name of the parameter. So you can pass all kinds of things in this manner. Like if you had a collection, I believe that you could do. Like if you wanted to select more than one food, drink, you would of course have to encode that URL, which the system could do for you. But you can pass a collection, you can pass dates, you can pass, like if you have another parameter, you would say and hidden, let's call it param2 equals param2 value. So hopefully that helps. You can find some more in the Ultimate Guide, Jasper Report Server Ultimate Guide. So the last thing I'll do is I'll just leave you guys with the future Tech Talks. So you can always come to the Tech Talks page. I'll go ahead and just paste that into the chat box for everybody. See. And you can sign up for any of the topics. So today we did the portals one. Next Tuesday we do Jaspersoft ETL architecture. And that one's actually in Dublin, Ireland time. So that'll be at 6 p.m. for those listening at the moment. I think that's right. Maybe I'm wrong. And yeah, no, that's right. So also you can listen to the next one in this time zone, which will be domains versus OLAP. So we've got Sherman Wood coming on to talk about those two. Kind of like what's the difference between them? Why would you choose one or over the other? And then Linux installation tips and tricks after that. So please register for any of them. And then when you want to listen to some older shows, you can click Watch Now on any of the previous shows, and it's a YouTube video which shows you the entire video. And then below you can see all the questions that were asked during the show. So, you know, listen to them in your car while you're driving home. You don't have to watch the video or anything like that. So thanks everybody for joining today, and thank you especially to Bing for all your preparation on this topic and all your research and excellent knowledge. So thanks for that.
Well, thank you, Ernesto, and thank you everyone who spending time with us. And remember, and you can always send a question to me or Ernesto, or post the question on our fabulous community site.
Excellent. Okay, so that's a wrap for Tech Talk number 9, and see you guys next time.